Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another video. It's David Mossad here, financial advisor, and in today's video we are going to be talking about, do students need to consider financial planning, or do they even need to think about it, being someone who is studying pretty much full-time and doesn't have the largest amount of capital or resources necessarily, and is just someone who doesn't have much day-to-day responsibility like family, dependents, etc., etc. Before I get into answering that question, let me quickly explain to you what a financial planner slash advisor does for those of you who aren't sure. So basically, a financial advisor can just be seen as a financial educator, someone who educates the people he works with on finances in whole, but more specifically, personal financial management and how to create, financial freedom, financial security, and wealth throughout the person's life. And furthermore, a financial advisor isn't only someone who, is in the teaching role, but actually also is almost like a personal trainer that creates a plan for those clients to follow, which is known as a holistic financial plan. So that's something that includes budgeting, saving, retirement planning, investment planning, medical aid planning, education planning for a person's kids if they have, life insurance, dread disease, what happens worst case scenario, etc., etc. So that is, in short, the role of a financial advisor. And then every financial advisor's goal is to help their clients with financial security, financial freedom, and wealth, becoming as wealthy as the person can within their lifetime. So I'm very often asked by younger people, and sometimes even older people from the older generation, like, isn't financial advisors only for the wealthy people? And no, absolutely not. In fact, everyone needs a financial advisor because everyone needs to learn personal financial management, needs to know how to manage their finances, needs to plan for worst case and best case scenarios, like what happens if someone dies, is there enough money, etc., etc., right? So absolutely, financial advisors are for everyone, and as a matter of fact, it could be even more so for people who aren't wealthy, because you have to think of, okay, what happens if the breadwinner in the family dies? Maybe a wealthy person already has trust, so the kids are fine. So it's for everyone. But then again, on the flip side, the wealthy person needs personal wealth management. So at the end of the day, everyone needs a financial advisor. So back to the original question, should students consider financial planning, since they're still in university and not yet working full time, or, just don't have necessarily don't have big capital resources at their current stage? The answer is yes. Of course, they should think about and consider financial planning, but not necessarily a holistic financial plan, because a holistic financial plan might be too much out of what a student is capable of taking on and what he or she necessarily needs, because a student doesn't necessarily need life insurance or any of that type of cover, because he doesn't have any dependents, so God forbid he dies, no one's depending on him. Or he might not necessarily need medical aid or some sort of medical plan, because he or she is still probably on their parents' plan. But where I do think students absolutely need to consider financial planning is on the side of investments, saving, etc., etc. And the reason for this is because you get the various gaps of students. You get those who don't come from such a wealthy background, and you get the middle class, and you get the wealthy, and all of them have some sort of a budget. The wealthy kids, they spend a lot. The middle class, they probably maybe work part-time, so they have some sort of income. And the people from a poorer background usually are there on have a either a student loan or whatnot. So they usually have some sort of money, but they're not usually thinking about what they're doing with that money. So they're overspending on things they may not need, and etc., etc. So what specifically is the type of investment planning that I would suggest for a student? Now, bear with me. This is going to sound extremely boring, but that's why I say bear with me, because it's coming to a point. I would suggest something like retirement planning. Why is that? Although yes, it's very boring, and retirement, you can only legally touch that money once you're over the legal age of retirement, which is between 55 and 65, depending on what you choose as your retirement age. So it's a very tedious process, and the benefits aren't instantaneous, which we all like instant gratification, especially people in my generation. So for us, investing in the long term is very, very difficult. But the reason I specifically suggest this is because retirement is one of those things that the younger you are, well, investing in the whole, but especially retirement, the better is going to be your outcome. So the younger you start, the wealthier you are going to retire. Now, why is that? So simply because retirement planning and retirement investing is taking advantage of something known as compound interest. Now, for those of you who don't know what compound interest means, compound interest is basically just the amount that your money compounds, grows each year based on what it compounded, i.e. grew the following year. So as an example, if you started with 1,000 Rand and that year it grows by 10%, so at the end of the year you'll have 1,100 Rand, right? Now here's where the magic starts, where the compound effect starts. Now you don't only have that 1,000 to work with, now you have the 1,100 to work with. So, and that grows again for that year, another 10%. Now you have 1,210 to work with. And you get where I'm going, right? That just keeps on compounding up until the point where you have this massive baseline where a 10% growth is huge. You get to like the 100,000 levels. Then if you have like 100,000, you get a 10% growth, that's 10%. That's 10,000 Rand that you grew that year. So compound interest is a very, very powerful and effective method, but it takes time. It really, really takes time. And if you want an effective explanation on exactly how much of a difference a couple of years can make, watch my video over here. There'll be a link to go watch it. There I show you with calculators exactly how powerful compound interest is and how much of a difference 5, 10, 15 years extra can make. So retirement is one of those things that retirement planning is one of those things that the sooner you start, the absolute better it's going to be for you and whoever you're going to retire with. So yeah, pretty much at the end of the day, I do think even students need to think about financial planning or consider it. Maybe consider getting some help from a financial advisor, but not to the level of a holistic financial plan, more to help them with like investment planning and, to introduce them to like, budgeting, teaching them some financial management tips and tricks, and then also getting the advisor to teach them some alternative investments, teach them about debt management, how you can actually make debt work for you to help increase your wealth over the long term with things such as real estate, etc., etc. Like there are endless amounts of ways in today's world, especially in today's world with technology and the amount of resources that are available to grow wealth. But you really, really need someone to help you understand how you can do that and how you can effectively manage your finances to ensure that you don't end up hurting yourself or someone who might not now be dependent on you, but might be dependent on you in the future. So yes, that is why not only just for professionals or people in the workforce, I think everyone, including students, and even if you're in preschool, primary school, whatever, okay, preschool might be a bit too young, but if you're in primary school or high school and you're thinking about investing, maybe even you speak to a financial advisor, because there is no such thing as starting too early. You're just going to have so much more money the earlier you start. Yeah, but that's it for today's video. That's pretty much it. If you guys need any questions, have anything you guys want to ask me, you can hit me up in the comments or hit me up on social media. My links will be in the description. And yeah, that's it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, legends. Bye.